Hey Celtics Nation, grab your coffee, your green jersey, whatever you need, because we got a lot to talk about. The Boston Celtics are deep into the grind, and this weekend gave us every single emotion you could ask for as a fan. The highs, the heart attacks, the hustle plays, the ugly turnovers, the redemption moments. You name it, we saw it. This team might still be figuring things out, but man, it's already been one wild ride. Let's talk about it, because Friday and Saturday felt like two totally different worlds for the Celtics, and both told us something real about who this team is becoming. Friday night in Philly, what a battle. The in-season tournament court was shining bright blue, and you could feel that extra energy in the air. Some folks keep saying, who cares about the cup? Well, I guess the Celtics do, because they showed up ready to play. From the opening tip, they came out with that aggressive mindset we've been waiting for. They punched the Sixers in the mouth early, outscoring them 38-25 in the first quarter. The ball movement was crisp, the defense was connected, and the crowd got quiet real quick. It was one of those starts where you think, oh yeah, this might be a blowout. But Philly didn't roll over. The second and third quarters tightened up, and suddenly, that early cushion started to slip away. The Celtics had some of those familiar late-game hiccups that make every fan's blood pressure skyrocket. A couple of sloppy turnovers, some missed free throws, and then here comes Joel Embiid trying to steal at the buzzer. Luckily, it didn't count, and it wouldn't have mattered anyway. The Celtics held on, winning 109-108, and that first cup win of the year felt sweet. A win is a win, and sometimes that's all that matters. What stood out most, though, wasn't just the score. It was seeing this new-look rotation start to make sense. Josh Minott stayed in the starting lineup again, and you can tell he's earning every single minute. Namias Queta got the nod at center. In just 19 minutes, he brought energy, rebounding, and toughness inside. Derek White, Jaylen Brown, and Peyton Pritchard rounded out that group. And even though Pritchard's shot still isn't falling, you can see the confidence never wavers. He's taking good looks, he's playing smart, and you just know one of these nights he's going to go off. Every shooter goes through slumps, but man, he's been testing that keep shooting mentality like few players ever have. Off the bench, the energy didn't drop. Sam Hauser, Anthony Simons, and Xavier Tillman all gave solid minutes. Luka Garza came in and did the dirty work, grabbing boards, setting hard screens, and even knocking down a couple of threes. But I've got to give a special shout out to Hugo. Yes, Hugo, not Hugo. I've been saying it wrong this whole time. So apologies to the man himself. Hugo was pure chaos in the best possible way. 15 minutes of pure energy. 5 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, and a +10 while he was on the floor. You could feel the difference when he checked in. Suddenly, the pace picked up, the Celtics were flying around, and the whole vibe shifted. Every team needs that kind of player, someone who just injects life into the game. Jaylen Brown, though, he's on another level right now. 13 for 19 shooting, efficient, composed, dominant. Through 7 games, he's been over 53% from the field, averaging 25 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists. You can tell he's comfortable in his role, not forcing anything, just letting the game come to him. Early in the season, people wondered how he'd fit next to Tatum, Porzingis, and the rest with all the new faces. But so far, he's proving he can be both the steady hand and the killer when needed. Every great team needs that balance, and Jaylen's been the heartbeat of this one. Meanwhile, Derek White hasn't quite found his rhythm from deep, but his defense and decision-making are still elite. He went 2 for 7 from beyond the arc in this game. But even when the shots don't fall, he impacts winning. And Peyton Pritchard, yeah, the 1 for 9 from 3 hurts, no doubt, but he still finished with 15 points, 5 assists, and 2 steals. He's staying aggressive. And once those shots start dropping, the Celtics second unit is going to look scary. Right now, he's shooting 18% from 3. 18. That number's going to climb. It has to. You don't shoot that confidently and stay that cold forever. The real difference maker in this win, though, was rebounding. Boston dominated the glass, 45-40, but the key stat was 16 offensive rebounds. 16. They just outworked Philadelphia all night. Hugo had 3 of those, Hauser had 3, Minott had 3. Even the guys who didn't score much were finding ways to make an impact. That's what good teams do. They create extra possessions. They hustle for every loose ball. They win the effort plays. And speaking of Minot, this dude deserves a ton of credit. When the season started, not many people had him pegged as a rotation lock. There were questions about who'd step up among the young wings, and Minot was kind of flying under the radar. But he's earned his spot the hard way. He just plays harder than everyone else, and that kind of energy becomes contagious. Same goes for Hugo. Those two have completely changed the tone of the bench unit. Now, the Sixers still got their numbers. Tyrese Maxey continued to look like an all-NBA player in the making with 26 points, 14 assists, and 8 rebounds. The rookie Edgecombe added 17, and Embiid, even in limited minutes, put up 20 and 6. But it wasn't enough. Boston kept their composure down the stretch and finally pulled out the type of close game that had slipped away earlier in the season. You could almost feel the relief in that locker room afterward. That's the kind of win that builds belief. Then came Saturday, and, well, that was a totally different story. Less than 24 hours later, the Celtics were back home facing a fresh Houston Rockets team, and you could tell from the opening tip that the energy just wasn't the same. This was what people call a scheduled loss. Second night of a back-to-back, emotional when the night before. Long travel, facing a young team with legs for days. The Celtics fought early, hung around for a bit, but eventually the gas tank ran empty. Houston's size and physicality just overwhelmed them. The Rockets are huge. I mean, seriously, look at that lineup. Kevin Durant. Yes, that's right, KD. Jabari Smith Jr., Amen Thompson, Sengun, Steven Adams, Clint Capella. It's like every single guy is 6'10" or taller. And that showed on the boards. Houston out-rebounded Boston 53-36. 53-36. The Celtics actually won the offensive rebound battle 14-12, but on the defensive glass, they got destroyed. And it wasn't just about effort. The Rockets were just too big, too strong, too fresh. The same starting five rolled out there again for Boston. Pritchard, Brown, White, Minot, and Quetta. Pritchard dropped 14 points, finally hit a few shots, but still just 1 for 4 from 3. Brown struggled this time, finishing with 12 on 6 for 14 shooting. It was one of those nights where nothing came easy. The bench tried to bring a spark, and Baylor Shyman deserves props for that. He played 23 minutes, hit 4 of 5 from deep, and gave the team a lift with 17 points and 5 rebounds. That's exactly the kind of role player the Celtics need. Someone who spaces the floor, plays hard defense, and hits those corner threes when the offense stalls. There was one play, though, that kind of summed up the night. Josh Minot made a fantastic steal on one end, sprinted down the floor on what looked like a 2-on-1 fast break, tried to go behind the back with a flashy pass, and it went straight to Houston. They hit a 3 on the other end, and Joe Mazzulla immediately pulled him out of the game. It's a learning moment. You love the aggression, but the margin for error in this rotation is small. Miss a read, make a careless play, and you're sitting. Mazzulla runs a tight ship, and honestly, that discipline is part of what's shaping this team's identity. So, 1 win, 1 loss on the weekend. That puts Boston at 3-4 on the season. Not amazing, but not panic time either. The goal right now is to stay around 500 through these first 10 games while the chemistry builds. The East is still wide open, and nobody's running away with it. The Sixers and Bulls are both 5-1. The Bucks are 4-2, and everyone else is bunched up in the middle. There's a lot of basketball left to play. The Celtics have shown flashes of who they can be. Relentless on the glass, dangerous in transition, deep enough to survive off nights from their stars. They've also shown how young and raw they still are. But that's the fun part of this stage of the season. You can see the pieces clicking into place, one game at a time. And as for that in-season cup, hey, laugh all you want, but the Celtics are 1-0 in it, and it's already giving us something extra to get hyped about. The next cup game? Friday against the Orlando Magic. You better believe this team's going to show up for that one. Saturday's loss to Houston might have been rough, but it wasn't one of those games that make you question the team. It was one of those nights where you just knew the circumstances weren't in their favor. Back-to-back games, fresh opponent, heavy legs, and a front line that looked like a wall. That's what Houston brought. The Celtics still fought, they still hustled, but the gas tank hit empty around halftime. You could see it in the defensive rotations, in the missed box outs, in those moments where the body just can't match the brain's intensity. The Rockets, on the other hand, looked like they were playing downhill all night. They were flying around, blocking shots, grabbing everything off the rim. It was one of those welcome-to-the-league moments for some of Boston's younger guys. A reminder that effort alone sometimes isn't enough when the other team's got that much size and energy. Still, there were positives. Baylor Scheinman's performance off the bench stood out big time. Hitting 4 of 5 threes, staying locked in on defense, making smart cuts. That's exactly what Boston's been missing from the wing spot. If he keeps that up, he's going to earn consistent minutes. Jordan Walsh also got some run, scoring 10 points and showing flashes of what he could become, even though the game was pretty much out of reach by the time he checked in. For the starters, it was one of those get-through-it type nights. Jaylen Brown only played a little over 20 minutes, Derek White had 19, and Neemias Queta just 15. The rotation was short, the rhythm was off, and the Rockets made them pay for every little mistake. The rebounding numbers told the story. Houston ended up winning that battle 53-36, including a crazy 41 defensive rebounds to Boston's 22. That's the kind of stat line that usually guarantees a loss. But I wouldn't pin it all on lack of effort. The Rockets are just built differently. Every guy they roll out seems to be 6'9" or taller. Kevin Durant was on a mission, finishing 8 for 11 from the field with 26 points. Amen Thompson nearly had a triple-double with 17, 9, and 8. And when you add in Steven Adams, Clint Capella, Jabari Smith Jr., and Tari Eason off the bench, it's like watching a college team scrimmage against an NBA frontcourt. The Celtics couldn't match that level of length and power, not on tired legs. Even in a loss, you learn something about a team's personality. Boston didn't quit. They kept taking shots, diving for loose balls, and trying to push the pace. You could see that the chemistry between the younger players and the vets is still developing. Sometimes the spacing looked clunky, the decision-making a little rushed, but those things smooth out over time. Joe Mazzulla's message after the game seemed pretty simple. Stay the course. The Celtics have an identity forming, defense, rebounding, and energy, and even on off nights, you can see flashes of what that looks like when it works. Right now, sitting at 3 wins and 4 losses, Boston's outside the play-in picture, but the standings mean nothing this early. The Eastern Conference is pure chaos. The Sixers and Bulls are sitting at 5-1. The Bucks are 4-2. The Pistons somehow have 4 wins already. The Cavs, Heat, and Knicks are all hovering around 500. Then you've got the Raptors, Hawks, Magic, Celtics, and Hornets all tangled up with similar records. One good week, and Boston could climb 5 spots. That's how tight it is. Injuries are already shaking things up too. The Atlanta Hawks just got hit hard. Trae Young's dealing with an MCL sprain and could miss around 4 weeks. That's brutal. Atlanta had started to find a rhythm, and losing their floor general changes everything. The Raptors might look like they're stabilizing, but their win came against a Memphis team that seems to be falling apart from the inside out. And speaking of Memphis, that whole situation with John Morant has gotten weird again. There were reports of tension between him and the coaching staff, something about a lack of leadership and effort. And then, boom, team suspension. Not a League One, a team suspension. That's the kind that says, we've had enough. But before we continue, please remember to subscribe to the channel and give the video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest news about the Boston Celtics. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments as well. Whispers are turning into a roar in the NBA rumor mill, and the latest buzz could reshape the league's landscape for years to come. According to insiders, Victor Wembanyama, the French phenom whose presence has already sent shockwave through the basketball world, is reportedly eyeing a seismic shift in his career, a potential partnership with Jason Tatum at the Boston Celtics. While no official announcements have been made, sources suggest that discussions behind closed doors have been nothing short of electric, hinting at the possibility of a super duo in Boston that could challenge the established order in the Eastern Conference. The Celtics, a franchise historically associated with championship pedigree and a legacy of stars, would welcome Wembanyama as a generational talent. a player whose size, skill, and basketball IQ seem almost otherworldly for someone so young. Pairing him with Tatum, already an elite scorer and two-time All-Star, could give Boston a combination of versatility and dominance that opponents can scarcely prepare for. Imagine Tatum slicing through defenses while WEMBANYAMA patrols the paint, protecting the rim, stretching the floor, and commanding attention from all angles. The mere thought has analysts speculating about the Celtics' potential to contend for multiple titles. Industry insiders claim the conversations have been preliminary but promising, with WEMBANYAMA reportedly intrigued by the Celtics' culture and championship ambitions. Sources close to the young French star hint that his agent has already initiated exploratory talks about roster fit, playing style synergy, and long-term vision with Boston's front office. While the logistics, contracts, trades, and timing remain murky, the NBA world is already buzzing. Social media is awash with speculation, memes, and hot takes about what this duo could mean not just for Boston, but for the entire league balance of power. For fans, the mere possibility is tantalizing. Could we be on the cusp of witnessing a new era in Boston? One where Tatum's polished offensive game meshes seamlessly with WEMBANYAMA's transcendent talent? If even half of the rumor proves true, the Celtics could be setting the stage for a dynasty in the making. As whispers turn into chatter, one thing is clear. The NBA offseason just got a lot more interesting, and all eyes are on Boston. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Boston Celtics, please subscribe to our channel and give the video a like. We always appreciate your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.